What's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Claro.
And this is another episode of FMAB.
Wow. I didn't like that.
FMAB episode 5. This is Reign of Sorrows from season 1.
How you feeling about episode 4?
I don't know. I'm really interested in the people telling me that in the original anime it was 4 episodes that led up to that, and so it had a lot more emotional weight. Yeah. I think that it's one of those interesting stories where like it was so horrifying, but it was so surprising. Yeah. That it never like got to an emotional place for me because it was so sudden. Yeah. So I think that if there had been a little bit more time with it, like apparently the original anime had, it might have had more weight. Yeah. More of an impact.
Originally, I actually wanted to watch the original first, or at least the first like half of it. But unfortunately, it's incredibly difficult to find streaming. Yeah. We didn't have any services that we paid for that had it, so
and we're not really, we don't do anything illegally here. Everything is legal. Everything, we have viewership of everything that we make. So
yes, we pay for
it's important to
everything we watch.
So I just I think it was a really good episode. I think it was a really interesting concept and a really interesting story. I do kind of like that Full Metal Alchemist puts like the like extremes of the church and the extremes of science back to back like that. I thought that was cool with those 2 episodes. But it definitely didn't have the emotional impact that I think people have described the original having for me. Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's get into episode 5 and see what's up. I'm assuming this is going to be about 10 lines. If you want a full-length reaction, go to patreon.com/nerdynightly. But if you don't, stay here because you're already here. And like, why not stick around? Yeah. Yeah.
If one wishes to obtain something, something of equal value must be given.
I feel like the show doesn't explore that very often. There's a lot of like, they do a lot of alchemy, and I'm like, what was the equivalent thing?
It will.
Yeah, I'm assuming. I just find it sometimes they're pulling shit out of the ground and then the ground is fine afterwards. And I'm like, it feels like you just pulled a giant machine out of the...
Well, no, there's like a crater in the ground.
Sometimes, yeah. And then sometimes they do crazy shit and I'm like, where did the cannons come from?
The cannons?
Yeah, began of last episode.
Out of the like paving tiles.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you alchemy them back into the paving tiles?
Probably.
Also, like, what is lost in, like, the chimera thing?
Which chimera thing?
Nina.
What do you mean? Oh, what is given?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Is it just their original bodies to create a new body? I guess you go from 2 bodies to 1, so maybe that's what
I'm not sure, actually, what the cost was for that.
It's never not going to be funny that they're like, losing my arm and leg, losing my body, I'm in the wind. It's like one of the weirdest visuals. He's evil. I've never seen a villain telegraphed as hard as the Führer is in the show.
Because he's called the Führer?
No, it's everything about him, including in the opening, have him be like, sin, 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 and then it cuts to his face looking angry on a rooftop. They're not, if they're supposed to be like oh my god, I'm so shocked, they're not trying.
Well, most people had watched the original first.
Used Nina and Alexander to create a talking chimera. Knowing that nothing he did could ever change Nina back, Ed was grief-stricken at his own powerlessness.
That's a really good scene. Ed's emotion in that scene was really well done.
Yup. Hey, Mom! Mom!
What do you have there, Ed?
How many times do we watch her die in this show?
Creating something as neat as this takes talent. But if you can do that...
Jesus, what the fuck?
Big brother. Let's play.
I'm so glad I don't have nightmares. I'll take not having dreams for not having nightmares.
That's fair.
Does Al sleep?
No.
Okay.
I was like, that's not like...
Doesn't feel like a reveal.
Because he doesn't have a body to replenish, right?
Right. Yeah.
He's always one step ahead of us.
We better catch up to him quickly because of the way things are going.
It's not a funny scene, but the way Armstrong talks is it's so...
Yes.
Human foolishness never ceases to amaze me.
Oh, hey, Lust is in the beginning of an episode.
Well, if it isn't the father.
Yeah, Father!
Sorry to have to put you to all of this trouble.
Is that the guy from 2 episodes ago? The fuck is...
And you have a fine recipe for instant violence.
Oh, wow, okay.
And no matter how many times it happens, they never learn. The human race is made up of violent, miserable fools.
I'm so confused about what is happening right now.
But if you insist, this time around I'll go with a younger,
cuter model. What do you say?
A monster! What's going on here? What have you done?
Can I
Hey.
do him? Can I?
Sure. Go ahead, Gluttony.
Scar? Because of his face? Yeah, we don't really know anything else about him, so that's what we're calling him.
I know that your powers of redemption.
Ooh. Ooh. It's not really on his forehead.
It's like right here.
It's like, I guess, yeah, it's more like right. I thought they were tan lines. I didn't realize that was a scar.
His body count nationwide is up to 10.
5 days ago, he took down Old Man Gron.
I feel like this episode is like, hey, I know we didn't set up a television show in the first 4 episodes, so here's what the plot of the show is.
You and Tucker are the only state alchemist of note in this area, right?
Oh no.
Isn't Armstrong a state alchemist? Aren't all 4 of those people state alchemists? Sometimes this show kind of feels like I'm watching like an abridged anime. A little bit.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Like I said, I would have liked to watch the first half of the first one.
This episode is just like a lot of different concepts back to back.
Thought maybe the rain would wash away some of this gloom that's following me. But right now, every drop that hits my face is even more depressing.
You, boy, you were the Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh yeah, it is higher than I thought.
Who is this guy? What does he want?
It's a great question.
Let's go, Al! Run for it!
Well, that worked. Or not. Al, you are an alchemist.
He's depressed right now.
Fair, but someone's trying to kill you. Use your superpowers.
Problem! Making enemies isn't something that But there's no reason someone should be trying to kill me!
Meanwhile, the literal sins are trying to turn you into a sacrifice.
Gutsy one, aren't you?
I would have created a better weapon than that, Al.
Too slow.
Oh, fuck! Oh, I thought maybe the thing protected him from being alchemized. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
Damn it!
An auto mail arm. Then that explains why my attacks didn't do the damage I expected.
Oh, Al is an automail.
No.
Okay.
Then I will have to start by destroying this abhorrent right arm of yours.
Fuck.
Brother! Run away! Brother!
This is fucking dark as shit.
In that case, I want your word. Promise me you won't hurt my brother.
Brother,
I will keep that promise.
no.
Or you will answer for the murders of at least 10 state alchemists. Alchemists alter things from their natural form, perverting them to something else, something grotesque.
But you are an alchemist.
As an agent of God, I am here to hand down his judgment. If you interfere, I will eliminate you as well.
Ugh. Fucking hate people who are like, no, my God is because I use the same thing, but I'm doing it for God. Fuck that.
You know who I am, and you still want to challenge me. Bad decision.
Hawkeye? What the hell did you do that for?
You know as well as I do, you're useless on rainy days.
Kind of hard to get a spark going when it's raining, huh?
These people are fucking idiots.
He's a little...
Oh, yeah, I guess it's raining right now. You fucking moron. Oh, my God.
A newcomer. You have to be quick to avoid my fist. Not bad.
A newcomer.
We'll see how you fare against the strong-arm alchemist, Alex Louis Armstrong.
This is strong arm. Did the Fuhrer have fun with that one? I'm gonna make it so he has to work out for the rest of his life.
Well, his name is also Armstrong, so it wasn't very creative.
That's fair. That was pretty rad.
That's the same man who murdered Mr. Tucker and his daughter.
Oh, don't tell him that.
Yeah. Ed's about to do some stupid shit.
We don't want to destroy the city, do we?
What do you mean?
Since when? Y'all have been down to destroy shit every time you're out in the city.
Law of the universe.
Did he have to strip?
Are you surprised? He's clearly insane.
Oh my God.
If Scar is an alchemist as well, doesn't that mean he's strayed from whatever his ways of God are too?
Yes. But religious people tend to think that because they did it, it's different.
He's unusually coordinated for his size, and his strength is almost superhuman. That combined with his alchemy, he won't be an easy one.
Thank you for letting us know.
There it is.
How the fuck is he dodging bullets?
He's too fast. I only grazed him with one shot.
Red eyes and brown skin, that means he's...
Of course he's in Ishvallen.
Oh, shit! From the war!
You might as well give up, Scar. You're not getting away.
Oh, so he's enacting revenge on the Alchemists for what they did in Ishval during the war. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Is it over now?
Lieutenant Colonel Hughes, where have you been this whole time?
A person like me shouldn't get dragged into a freak show with you pack of pseudo-humans. It's bad for my health.
He's got self-preservation, #1.
You pack of pseudo-humans is a sentence.
There's got to be a really long story behind this one.
It's shorter than you think.
Why didn't you run away when I told you to? What kind of idiot are you?
Yes! Love Al.
Making the decision to die is something only an idiot does.
Hey, easy on the idiot stuff. I'm still your older brother.
Go Al.
I love Al so much.
I won't allow you to abandon the possibility of hope and choose a meaningless death. Oh, great!
Oh, great! Al's voice actor fucking gives.
Oh, fantastic.
We look like we belong in a junkyard.
Oh, Ed can't even fix him.
Good grief, I've stumbled into an extra special kind of freak show, huh? Yeah, sorry.
There's no justification for taking revenge on people who had nothing to do with it. He's just dressing his ugly lust for vengeance in the mantle of his god and calling himself an agent of justice.
Was that line about Attack on Titan? The show is so weird. That meeting, they sat down and talked about war crimes that they committed, and then at the end of it, everyone's sitting there like, remember when we did war crimes?
Yeah. Obviously, that's a little more fleshed out in the original.
Yeah, and I enjoy this show, but I'm feeling a little bit like I'm missing out on the experience.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Like this, it's not that any of this is bad. It's just that it is kind of random and it's moving forward really quickly, but at the same time, they haven't really set up what it's moving forward in the direction of.
Yeah. Yeah, I think after like the first like 10 episodes, it really mellow out.
Okay.
But the first little bit of this is very fast.
I also just think that like the people Ed's working with are morons. Like they're all ridiculous idiots. And so when it cuts to, and we did war crimes, it's extra strange because they seem like highly incompetent. All of the alchemists we've met, other than Ed and Al, seem like they are not like capable of putting intelligent thoughts together.
Why?
Because Mustang is like unable. He's like, oh, I'm gonna put my gun down and fight you with my fire, even though a fire alchemist should be the most aware of rain. And it shouldn't take someone like being like, what are you doing, you fucking like
that
Hawkeye?
Is a running gag.
I know, but gags are for comedies. Gags aren't for, and this guy is also a war criminal shows.
Yeah.
And that's where the divide is. If this show was funnier, then it wouldn't bother me.
Yeah.
But it's that it wants to have the Nina episode, and then it wants to show Mustang be the adult in charge, who's also a moron.
Yeah, the show tries to have its cake and eat it too, because it wants to be for an audience, like it wants to be for the biggest like anime audience, because you know, like the 12-year-old boys, the war crimes doesn't mean like the same thing as it does maybe you and me, right? And so so they are trying to like juggle both of those things. From what I remember, the silliness becomes less so the more it goes on.
Yeah, and I think that's what I want from it. I think that the show, I like the themes that the show keeps bringing up.
Yeah.
And when it leans on those themes, like I really like the scene with Ed and Al sitting in the rain. And I thought, like, the way that Ed is feeling after Nina's death is so real, and I can really relate to it. And then Al's feeling of like, God, you feel so sad in the rain, and I don't even feel it anymore. And like that scene is so good. And honestly, the first fight between Scar and Ed and Al is like up until the gang of morons shows up, I actually thought that it was really well handled. It's only once like Armstrong shows up and is taking off his shirt and it's like a joke that it's like, but this scene isn't a joke. Like, because Armstrong is ripping off his shirt in a shot where Ed is on the ground in the back with his arm ripped off and Al is missing half of his body. And I'm like, this isn't funny. And it goes back to episode 1 when I was like, oh, they destroy half of the city. And then the next morning, Glasses is making jokes to Mustang. And I'm like, this isn't, last night was awful. Like, it was a heinous, awful thing that happened, and these characters aren't treating their world. The characters aren't treating the world like it's real.
Yeah.
The stakes of this world are always kind of eschewed as soon as a scene is over. And so one scene has a tone, like the Lust Gluttony scene, meeting Envy, right? Who I thought was like the prototype for what Jinx becomes in Arcane. In like the Hermotion, animation wise. But like, I really like that scene. And like the seriousness of it and the tone of it is so cool and good.
Yeah.
And so it's the flip-flopping of the show that like keeps like pulling me away from what I think it's hard is a really interesting story, but tonally I think this is just kind of a mess. And I don't like, I want to laugh because it seems like they're saying jokes, but they're also telling me that they did war crimes.
Yeah.
And like, that is it's weird. It's so strange.
Yeah.
And I've never watched anything like this.
And I think that comes from the trying to jam pack as much of the original show into this one, right? Because there's more time to breathe in between the serious and the funny moments. It like rides the wave of like funny, serious a little better. Because right now they're very steep. Whereas when there was more time for it, it was a little more like this. It still had that, at least from what I remember. They really do try and be like comedic relief, because I think that the show wanted to explore very serious things, but like not make you want to cry and go curl up in a ball. You know, like I think it does purposefully try to lighten its blows. In a lot of ways. And so that condensed into the Brotherhood version of that really like scrunched it all together. So yeah, there's none of that breathing room in between the tones. Because I think that you can have very serious and very comedic tones in something. as long as you're playing the characters reacting to them, and that's what you seem to be having a problem with, is that the characters are like, yeah, wow, we did war crimes. Anyways, bada bing, bada boom, right?
But I don't think that you can have them both ways. I think that you can have comedic moments in a serious show, and I think that you can have serious moments in a comedic show, but you have to decide what you're making first, and then you have to choose to have if you're gonna have a serious show, which is what I think that this should be, given what it's about.
I would say that this is a serious show.
I wouldn't. But
no, I mean, with my knowledge of like how things go and how the tone shifts, this is definitely a serious show that tried to cater towards a 12-year-old boy audience as well to get people in for the story.
I think that, like, look, I say a lot about Attack on Titan, right? And I have my feelings about it. I think for the most part, Attack on Titan is a serious show that uses comedy really well in instances where it can be funny without detracting from the stakes of the scene that is taking place.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that my problem right now with Fullmetal Alchemist is that Ed and Al know what show they're in. And because I commended episode 1, I was like, the Ed Height stuff is about who he is.
Yeah.
And it grounds him in his relationship to the people around him and the way that they're treating him.
Yeah.
Armstrong doesn't. Armstrong's quirk and the jokes around him make him seem like an idiot. But he's supposed to be in charge. And so I get taken out of the stakes of the moment because this character who's supposed to be the person in charge...
I mean, he's not in charge, but yeah.
Well, he's clearly superior to everyone else we've met except for the Führer.
No, he's not.
What do you mean? He's the highest ranked.
No, I think that Mustang is...
Okay, but Mustang is also an idiot.
The fire...
Like, he's not making good choices.
Yeah.
And so when your quirks, when the jokes are that your characters are stupid, what it does is it takes away from the stakes of the show. It goes back to what we were talking about in our Expanse reaction that would have come out on Monday, where we were talking about how no one in the Expanse holds the stupid ball.
Yeah.
How the plot and the character progression happens without having to force a character into a position of being dumber than they're supposed to be in order for the plot to move forward. This show seems to just pass the stupid ball around.
Well, it also doesn't really, like, service the plot. It is meant for, like, gags.
But gags that don't service the plot, that reduce the characters' intelligences, inherently work against the plot and against the stakes, right? And right now, like, I was really on board for this episode because I thought there was actually, like, very interesting stuff until Mustang showed up. And then from when Hawkeye kicks him out because he doesn't realize it's raining to the end of the episode, it's a mess. Like, it's a very weirdly written kind of cabal of shit that happens.
Yeah.
That makes these characters look incompetent.
Yeah, it's because they try and force the Ishval stuff in there. There's a lot more time with that. Like,
really interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like taking Scar, introducing him as a villain, and then this episode being like, this is why, and you're like, well, yeah, fuck, like, I kind of get it. I don't agree with his methods, and I don't think what he's doing is right, but I also am like, he's trying to kill war criminals who, like, massacred his people. Like those two things can both be true at the same time, right? You can say that somebody is wrong and also understand where they're coming from, which I think happens in good television, right? I think that happens a lot in the first few episodes of season 4 that we've watched of Attack on Titan, where I'm like, I get, like, these characters now, and I understand how they become this way because of their situation.
Yeah.
But to introduce that and then have the characters give the backstory and then be sitting around like, what are you going to do now, Ed? Oh, you're going to go on a little adventure? Like, it's weird.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Right. I want to like the show more than I am right now. I do. And I really liked last episode. I thought everything about episode 4 was really well handled.
Yeah.
And half of this episode is really, really, really good. And then it just kind of becomes frivolous.
Yeah.
It's a little frivolous.
And that's what I mean. Like, I think, like, by the time we get to, I think it's around episode 10.
Yeah.
Like, I think the show will be more cemented in its tone and in the storytelling. Because, it is trying to do too much right now.
I wish I could have seen the original first, because I feel
me too.
I feel like there's something here that is so good.
Yeah.
And that, like, if it just had a little room to breathe and a little bit of, like, character time. And
yeah. No, I agree. That's why I thought we should watch the original. But like I said at the beginning, wasn't able to do that. So.
It's just interesting. I don't dislike the show. I don't love it as much as I want. And yeah, it's just dark. I want it to be darker.
You want it to sit in its darkness a little bit more, as opposed to being and Ed is short, haha.
I don't mind Ed is short because that isn't that doesn't take away from the stakes. I don't.
Oh, it's raining and Mustang forgot.
Yeah, that doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Because he's an adult. I like when adults behave like adults. It really it is something that so much entertainment today is missing. It's why I love Tony Stark being an alcoholic in Iron Man 2, right? Yeah. It is such a real issue that you can kind of look at and be like, that is a problem that is unique to the experience of adulthood that is affecting his decision making. Yeah. In a way, and I as much as I think Iron Man 2 is not the best Marvel movie, I think it has its strengths in that it is grounded in his PTSD in a way that I think is really relatable, in a way that I don't think Thor's PTSD is handled with the Fat Thor thing the same way in Endgame, where that is Fat Thor becomes a joke.
Yeah.
And in a way that I actually liked the way Chris Hemsworth played it, and I thought he did a good job, but I thought the characters around, the way everyone else talked about it in the movie was weirdly dismissive of the PTSD angle that it seemed like they were going for.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's the two different ways of handling real world feelings and emotions, and the way that those translate to adult characters relating to them. And I think that the show wants to be about something so interesting, and it's visually visually this show is incredible. I love the electrical way alchemy works. I love that it isn't afraid to call out the danger of being too religious or the danger of being too scientific. I love a lot of those themes, and I just wish it was kind of in a show that was handling those all with a little bit more adult gloves.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it does.
And honestly, I kind of wish the joke was different. I'm not going to lie.
Which joke?
I wish that the Armstrong joke was a different joke this episode. But it's the same joke.
No, he just always takes his shirt off.
Yeah.
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 No, there's running gags, which I just assumed was an anime thing, that guy biting his tongue on the horse. Where you're just
oh yeah, that also that we kept being this is dumb. No one bites their tongue this much. It's just not physically possible unless you were intentionally trying to do it.
Yeah, the difference is that Armstrong is very lovable, and you're just ah.
But he's a war criminal. Well, no, he isn't.
I don't actually.
We didn't see him in the flashback. The only one I know in the flashback is Mustang.
There was another one that you've seen as well.
Who?
Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, it was on the screen.
He was the one in jail. The fire...
Yeah, but I don't remember. He died so fast.
Is he dead?
Didn't Scar kill him?
Oh, maybe.
In episode 1?
Yeah.
Or somebody killed him. He's dead, right?
I honestly can't remember.
Anyway, this was interesting. This show keeps being interesting, and it gives me a lot to talk about, which I like. I don't know if anyone stays for these long conversations where I just mystify myself about the way television is written.
I don't know. I think it's fun. I think that's the cool thing about our reactions is that we do actually talk about it afterwards.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Thus far, I would say the show has so much potential, and I'm waiting for it to live up to its potential a little bit more.
I think it will. I think we'll get a bit further in, and I from what I remember. Yeah. I have a feeling it'll pay off.
If you like this video, like and subscribe to the channel. If you don't, hit the dislike button. Leave me comments down below because the algorithm god is hungry and we must feed her. This episode, that algorithm goddess is Hawkeye. Jeremy Renner showed up, did a great job.
Yeah.
No, Hawkeye, I like her. I'm curious about her. She seems interesting, capable, and worthy of being in charge. So I'm very curious as the show dives into her more. I'm sure she dies a horrible death or something based on that face. If you want to follow us around the internet, you can. I'm at nerdynightly.
I'm at Claris Polaris.
As always, y'all, what the fuck are you doing here? Go away. Bye.
Bye.